Okay, so this has definitely been my favorite pilot so far. Today we're talking about NBC's Sunnyside, which, the cast looked really promising, but the premise, I was a little bit worried it was going to be a reverse outsource. If you don't remember Outsource, I'm so jealous of you. I wish I didn't remember Outsource. It was that face at best, I guess. But luckily, Sunnyside is not reverse outsource. And so actually, let's just get into the premise. Sunnyside, of course, is helmed by comedic legend Kal Penn, Kumar of Harold and Kumar. Also did some policy things in the Obama administration. A man of many talents. Cal's character, Garrett Modi, the councilman for Sunnyside, Queens. And he is recorded going on this drunken rampage. The video goes viral. He's ousted from his seat. But when the pilot starts, he's actually living in his office because his girlfriend has kicked him out. Then eventually the new councilwoman who comes to replace him kicks him out of that office. So now that he has nowhere left to go, he turns to his sister and he goes and crashes with her. He's kind of this sad sack. He doesn't really have a lot of stuff in his own life going on. According to his sister, he wasted most of the 15 years that he was in office partying. So she's kind of like, all right, well, I'm going to work every day. You don't have a job. And you're probably not going to get elected back. Like, what's your plan? So his genius plan, he goes to some website where he makes an event experience. You can hang out with a disgraced councilman. That's how he kind of runs into this ragtag study group of people that, become the rest of the core of the show. They hire him to allegedly, take pictures with him and do the whole disgraced councilman experience. But then the building where we've been studying for the citizenship test got turned into a WeWork. So we don't have anywhere to practice anymore, essentially. Can you help us? We know you're disgraced, but is there someone you can call? Kal Penn knows there's no one he can call, but he pretends and he calls a bunch of people and they basically all tell him to go screw himself. And then he lies to them and they are like, oh yeah, we'll keep paying you for a week to just help us prepare for this test while we're waiting for one of your friends in power to call back. Little do they know, of course, none of them are gonna call back. He's just kind of in it for the cash at this point. So rounding out the cast of characters besides Garrett and his sister Mallory is Griselda, who's a Dominican immigrant, Brady, who is a Moldovan immigrant who actually did not know he was a Moldovan immigrant, and is an example of a case that happens a lot in the United States. Is his mom brought him over to Moldova when he was really young and never told him, and he didn't find out until he was trying to renew his driver's license. Now all of a sudden he's facing deportation. There's Hakeem, a former cardiothoracic surgeon, and then of course my favorite, the scene stealers, Maylin and Junho. We don't exactly know where they came from because according to them, they say that their father is in international waters, or depending on who you ask, they're not supposed to know where his exact location is. So we don't exactly know where they're from, but they also are trying to get their citizenship. Last but not least, there's Drazen, who is also from Moldova. He's a little bit older, and his kind of thing is that he's not very good at filling out any of the paperwork. So the group kind of all tolerates him, but deep down they feel bad for him and are trying to help him, along with the rest of them, resolve any citizenship issues that they might have and just make sure that they can all stay and not have to worry about this anymore. He comes into the bar one day to meet the study group and everyone is looking all solemn and quiet. So of course Garrett is like, what's wrong? What's going on? And then sadly the study group informs him that Drazen, the other Moldovan, has been detained by ICE, and they're not exactly sure how it happened because even though he has a green card, he still got detained. But, as was earlier established, he's not really good at filling out all the forms. They make a lot of nice, interesting points throughout here about how hard it is to be an immigrant and all the hoops you have to jump through, how you have to have a job and live at a consistent address and keep your record clean. My parents are immigrants and went through similar things. A bunch of my extended family and family friends have all gone through this process. Some are still going through this process. So it's just really something I've seen play out a lot in real time. So it's kind of nice that a major network comedy is pointing out all of these issues and is kind of poking holes in a lot of arguments that I think some people make when they are questioning when people are coming over the border, or when people are, taking shots at people who have lived here for many, many years, but maybe not be legal citizens, how they contribute to the community, how they have to pay taxes, how they actually, as a whole, cause a lot less trouble than people who are born here. So after this conversation, this is when Garrett gets found out. Now he's like, okay, I have a plan. I want to go help these people. So he goes and starts rounding up the members of the study group. They take his taxi over to where the two siblings are, and their new instructor is an amazing cameo by Bill Nye. They do not like him and immediately want to leave when Cal Penn shows up. They're like, fine. I love Joel Kim Booster. He's a comedian. I'm very into his stand-up and a lot of other things that he's done. He plays Jun Ho, who is the male sibling. But honestly, I would have to say that I think the scene stealer for the entire show, or at least the entire pilot, is his sister, Mei Lin. And I don't know the actress's name. I've never heard of her before. All of her line deliveries were just killing me. I think she's the best character on the show. She has the best one-liners. And I just want to see more from this actress. I want to see her in everything. I need to look up her name. And you know what? I'll probably put it somewhere in here just so you can know who she is and you can look her up, because the best thing about this pilot was her, 100%. Especially in this Bill Nye scene where, as they're leaving, the only critique that she offers to him of his teaching style is to be less boring. And I think a lot of people should follow that advice. Not just Bill Nye. They go to Brady, he's at the library, and then an amazing gag, Griselda is also at the library. I'll get into the gag of her working jobs, but it's truly amazing. Like, shout out to the lady, they really did that. And so the gang gets all back together again, and they go storm the office of the councilwoman who replaced Cal Penn and beg her to help them find Drazen, see if they can find out which ICE facility he's being taken to. The councilwoman correctly lets them know that many people are not actually allowed into these facilities, but she'll do the best she can. And then actually Cal Penn says, in the future, while we're trying to do this process, I want to help them. Can we come back to you? So that's a nice way of, making sure she'll still be involved. Also, can I just say, this actress, stunning, gorgeous. I love her, so I'm glad they're making sure she's gonna be roped in and be at least a reoccurring character, because my goodness, like, what a beautiful girl. And that is how the episode ends. I also wanted to discuss a detail they included in this episode that I really think helped solidify Cal Penn's character, and also gave him a little bit of an explanation as to why he doesn't know all of these things about the judicial system, even though he was a councilman for 12 years. As they go along and all of the different immigrants are talking about the struggles they have, Cal Penn kind of interjects and says, well, I didn't know this would happen, and I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And everyone kind of looks at him crazy. And then they kind of explain that even further by reinforcing the fact that he was born here. And a lot of American citizens, including myself, have looked at the questions on the citizen test and realized that they themselves could not answer them. As Americans, honestly, a lot of those things we don't get taught in school. And so for him to be an American and then also to just be like really disinterested and party his way through all 15 years of him being a city councilman, it makes a lot of sense all of a sudden why he doesn't know the laws regarding any of these things, why he doesn't know any of the historical information that the immigrants are trying to learn for the exam. They flesh out the reasons why he doesn't know a lot of these things just by inserting little details in the pilot. And so I just thought that was something really nice, and it added a lot to the show. A lot of these shows, start on a first day of someone at work, or like, oh, you're showing a new person around. This show did not take that approach, and it's nice to see kind of a different approach that still allows the viewers to be educated on a subject and still introduce everybody without relying on like the same kind of tired tropes that you see in so many pilots every single season. I mentioned Griselda's job gag. So when she first comes into the scene, she's talking about working all of these jobs.
Griselda, you're up. Yep. Oh, wow. I thought you worked at FedEx.
I do, in the day. At night, I work here.
Wow, 2 jobs.
Kind of. In the morning, I deliver newspapers.
Oh.
Then I go teach a Zumba class at 7 before work.
At FedEx?
No, I'm my paralegal job. Then I go over to the Genius Bar and I fix a couple of iPhones for a few hours. Then FedEx. Let me get your refund.
And then from there, it just becomes a reoccurring gag. They go to the baseball game.
Did. And thank you for bringing us. It's been inspiring just being here. Well, back to work.
And then they go to the library.
Now we just need to find Griselda.
I'm right here. I'm almost on my lunch break. Where are we going?
It's just like incredible. Honestly, I understand since it was already used 3 times, rule of 3, that they might not use it again, but I hope it becomes a reoccurring gag throughout the whole season because it made me laugh. Like I said in the beginning, this is definitely my favorite pilot I've watched so far. It was really funny and full of heart and also educational, and it definitely has some really good gags and buttons, and I'm a sucker for that. I love comedy. I think everyone should go watch Sunnyside. You'll learn something, you'll laugh, and you'll get to see another cast that has, oh my gosh, no white people in it, not a single person. Oh, that's not true. I don't know why I said that. Out of a whole cast, it's only one. All right, see you in the next review.